I want to earn all of my friends' platinum trophies, and today I'll be getting the Tekken 6 Platinum on the PlayStation 3. My friend Peter got this platinum back in November 2010, and it was his first platinum trophy ever, so this is a fun one for me to get. I've dabbled in fighting games like Street Fighter Alpha 3 on the PS1, Mortal Kombat back on the Genesis with my friends back when we were kids. Not strictly a classic fighting game one would think of, but I loved Bushido Blade on PS1. And in college there was a lot of Def Jam Vendetta being played in the dorms on the PS2, until Halo took over everyone's lives. So it's been a long time since I've really looked in the direction of a mainstream popular fighting game. In a way, I'll be commemorating my friend Peter's accomplishment with my suffering, as I am not only terrible at fighting games, but I also don't really like them very much. Honestly, in the last 20 years, I've stayed away from fighting games, really only playing some Super Smash Bros. During friend hangouts and the occasional platinum for PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale and Multiverses. But even those wore down their welcome with me eventually, and I was happy to put them down. I'm hoping I come out of this with a larger appreciation for a gaming genre that I've really abandoned over the years, and of course, the platinum, so I can prove I have at least some fighting game chops to my friends. There are 50 trophies in total for Tekken 6, 36 bronze, 11 silver, 2 gold, and finally the platinum trophy itself. As I get started, I am seeing there are 4 primary parts to this platinum. There are 5 online trophies, which of course are worrisome playing such an old game on such an old console, so I'll try my best to earn those first. The bulk of the game's trophies lie in the scenario campaign mode. There are 36 trophies that are related to the scenario campaign. 8 of those come naturally from playing through the story. There are trophies related to killing a certain number of enemies, killing enemies with certain weapons, finding treasures, building up combo chains, collecting certain items like health items or power-up drinks, killing helpless aliens, and some other miscellaneous ones I'll pick up along the way. Thirdly, there are 6 trophies related to the game's offline modes that just want you to test out what the game has to offer besides a campaign and online multiplayer. And finally, there's a gallery with a slew of collectibles that will finish up the Tekken 6 Platinum. Since I fear online trophies, I really want to get them done and out of the way first. I have to play 3, 10, and 30 matches online, which should be easy as long as I can find them. While I work my way up to 30, hopefully I can also nab the other 2 online trophies for winning a ranked match and a player match. I had brought my PS3 over to my friend's apartment to get the viral and They'll Tell 2 Friends trophy from the original Borderlands on PS3. If you haven't checked that video out, there is a link in the description. But while I was there knocking that off my list, we also sat around and passed the controller for about 2 hours playing some online matches in Tekken 6. This earned me the Fighting Amateur, Fighting Enthusiast, and Fighting Master trophies for playing 30 total online matches. The people that are still playing Tekken 6 on PS3 have tens of thousands of matches fought under the belts. So it's a stroke of pure luck that in some crazy turn of events I ended up winning a ranked match for the Moving On Up trophy. We tried and failed to find any matches in the player match mode for the final online trophy, so we'll have to come back to that later. But for now, it's time to dive into the scenario campaign mode where most of this journey is going to take place. This mode covers the main story of Tekken 6, which follows Lars and Alyssa through 34 main and 4 bonus stages. I've never played a Tekken game before, and I'm jumping into the 6th one. Imagine jumping in on Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. How would I even know what Jason's motivation for killing is at this point? What drives him to murder? Where are his parents? I would have no way to know, but luckily Tekken 6 has me covered. And the scenario campaign mode starts you off with over 10 minutes of video going over all 5 of the previous main series Tekken titles, and introducing you to the beginning of Tekken 6. Heihachi starts a huge fighting tournament called the King of Iron Fist Tournament, sponsored by a giant financial conglomerate called the Mishima Zaibatsu. The winner of this tournament, Kazuya Mishima, gets the opportunity to challenge Heihachi, who is his father. After defeating Heihachi, he throws his old man off of a cliff to his death because Heihachi did the same thing to him when he was 5 years old. One game recap in, and this is peak insane storytelling. 2 years have passed since Tekken 1, and Kazuya is now in charge of the Mishima Zaibatsu. A second king of the Iron Fist tournament is announced. Heihachi, who did not die from being tossed off a cliff, enters and wins the second tournament. He regains control over the Mishima Zaibatsu and proceeds to throw his son's body into a volcano. Jun Kazuma, who is pregnant with Kazuyu's son Jin, inherits his father's devil gene. 15-ish years after Tekken 2, Heihachi has now created a mercenary group called the Tekken Force, and begins to gain trust of world leaders by ending conflicts across the globe. He hears about a fighting god known as Ogre in South America and sends the Tekken Force to excavate it so he can take its power for his own. Ogre cannot be contained and eventually comes for and kills Jun Kazama. Jin then goes to his grandpa Heihachi, the one who threw his dad into a volcano, and asks to be trained. Heihachi then starts the third King of Iron Fist tournament in hopes to attract Ogre. Jin defeats Ogre in the tournament, and then Heihachi shoots his grandson because his family only cares about the consolidation of power and not each other. Jin, however, turns into a devil creature and escapes. I'm not embellishing this is just actually what is happening. This may be wilder than most plotlines in Riverdale.
See, there's only one of you, but we are Legion. We're called the Red Circle, and we're coming for you.
As Heihachi searches for Jin, he finds a photograph of a horribly burned man that he believes is his son Kazuya, from when Heihachi threw him into a volcano 20 years ago at the end of Tekken 2. Heihachi's investigation leads him to a biotech company called G Corporation, which totally sounds like some pure Resident Evil shit. G Corp has decoded Kazuya's genetic data in an attempt to create a new body for him. Leading the Tekken Force, Heihachi raided G Corporation, but Kazuya had already been resurrected and escaped. Heihachi then announced the King of Iron Fist Tournament 4 in order to coax Kazuya out, this time with the Mishima Zaibatsu as the grand prize for winning. Jin defeats his father Kazuya in the tournament and almost kills Heihachi when his grandfather tries to take his devil gene powers for himself. Heihachi is attacked by a group of jack robots during the aftermath of his battle with Jin and pronounced dead to the world. Jinpachi Mishima, Heihachi's father, is resurrected by a demon but is defeated by Jin Kazama in the 5th King of the Iron Fist tournament. Jin is now the owner of the Mishima Zaibatsu, and finally we can kick off the scenario campaign of Tekken 6. As the new leader of Mishima Zaibatsu, Jin declares war on the world. The G Corporation pushes back against Jin and the Mishima Zaibatsu. Lars Alexanderson leads a portion of the Tekken Force and rebels against Mishima. The G Corporation puts a bounty on Jin's head, and at the same time, Jin announces the 6th King of Iron Fist tournament. Lars and his rebel portion of the Tekken Force break into a Mishima building and discover a girl in a chamber. The G Corporation and their jack machines attack the scene, and I am pushed into the tutorial mission. You'll see here that I have 0 to no fighting ability, and I must warn you that my skills do not improve as much as one would hope during my 30-ish hours with this game. A jack self-destructs, killing all of Lars's units, conveniently giving him amnesia and letting out the sleeping girl in the chamber, Alyssa. Another jack attacks. Alyssa defeats it using her rocket wings and chainsaw arms, which, let's be honest, is not even a little weird based within a game that has an anthropomorphic bear, a kangaroo with boxing gloves, and a living wooden training dummy to name a select few of the colorful cast of characters. Lars and Alyssa escape through a wooden path while Tekken 6 walks me through some game basics, and at the end I earn my first trophy in the scenario campaign. Learning is fun. After the tutorial, the game lets you pick one character on top of the default characters, Lars and Alyssa, that you can use during the main campaign missions. Others will be added to this list as I beat them on whatever stage they are the boss of. I chose Kazuya because I read before jumping into this game that he has a good and possibly easily spammable move, but every time I select him, without fail, the game does not load and promptly freezes. The game disc I got is a little more scratched up than I would prefer, but it specifically freezes only when I pick him.
Kazuya Mishima.
Cool. Lars and Alyssa have escaped the battle in the building, but are now at a loss of where to go or what to do because of his newly acquired amnesia. Although there is no record of Lars' name in the Mishima database, there is an alert to terminate a man who matches his exact description. Since Alyssa is essentially anime data but in a half schoolgirl, half lingerie costume, she is now Lars' guiding light until his memories come back to him. An abandoned G Corp facility lies up ahead, so the two decide to head in that direction and search for some answers. Along the way, I earned the Combo Amateur Trophy for getting a 10-chain combo that you can see on the upper left side of the screen. Every kill adds to the chain, and the game is generous with the time it allows in between kills before it resets back to 0. The boss of this stage is Brian. He's apparently just hanging out looking to beat up or murder people as they pass through these gates, so Lars and Alyssa take him out. After stage 1 is completed, I unlocked the arena on the map, which is where the King of the Iron Fist tournament takes place. I'll need to come back to this later for every character's prologue and ending movies for a trophy, but for now I'm going to press on with the campaign. Traveling through the docks, I find my first usable weapon of the campaign, a Gatling gun, and with it I defeated an enemy, earning me the Give Your Fists a Rest trophy. There are 3 different weapons in the game: the Gatling gun, a flamethrower, and a lead pipe. Each has a certain number of enemies I need to defeat while using them during my playthrough, so whenever I see one, I'm picking it up, and not only making my life a little easier, but also making some progress towards these specific weapon trophies. Sadly, they only have limited ammunition or uses until they become unusable, but they are so much fun to use when I got them, and the game is pretty liberal with its weapon drops. The Gatling gun makes fast work of enemies and builds my chain from 12 to 21, giving me the opportunity to reach a chain of 30 for the Combo Enthusiast trophy. The boss of Stage 2 is Miguel, and since he's not a fan of us being there, he picks a fight he has no business being a part of. The numbers game catches up with Miguel and he's quickly put down. Alyssa's AI increased to level 2 after this stage, which honestly for gameplay or even story reasons doesn't really mean anything. But there is a trophy for getting her to max level, which will come naturally as we progress through the story. I attempt this stage a couple of times, but I've hit my first wall when it comes to ability. I knew I was eventually going to get here since I stink at fighting games, but since stages 1 and 2 were such a cakewalk, I assumed it wouldn't be until much later in the game. I got killed by a big robot enemy, then got my revenge by kicking him into the water on my next attempt. Jack 6 is the boss of this stage, but this time I couldn't overcome the numbers game. Jack and his goons, combined with my limp gaming prowess and Alyssa dying on me like it was her job, meant I was not getting past this guy right now. So, branching paths are a beautiful thing. Just like on stage 3, there's a suspicious tanker too close to the pier, so our dynamic duo decides to investigate. I fight a bunch of female agent Smiths until the stage boss Lily challenges Lars and Alyssa to a fight. Quickly beaten, Lily gives Lars a car and our heroes are off once more to solve the mystery of Lars's amnesia. I decided to retry stage 3 again after my overwhelming success at the Queen's Harbor. I once again died to a giant robot halfway through the stage on my first attempt, but that did not deter me, and I continued in my pursuit of stage 3 mastery. I earned the King of the Hill trophy for knocking 10 enemies into the water, which was my main strategy against the big robot enemies since I am bad at punching and kicking, so instead I sent them to a watery grave. Once I finally reached the stage boss, Jack 6, I eked out a victory by pure luck. As if he would have breathed on Lars intensely, I would have lost the fight. Lars and Alyssa continue their tour of the docks. I failed this stage a couple of times before I could defeat the stage boss, Dragonov. During my third attempt at this one, I did defeat my 300th enemy for the Enemy Hunting Amateur trophy. After I defeated Dragonov, Lars meets up with Togu, who says he is his close friend and right-hand man in the rebel portion of the Tekken force. Togu tells Lars that he should seek out Heihachi Mishima, as this was someone Lars has been looking for recently and may help him out to get some answers. I received the Friend or Foe trophy for the fateful meeting. Not much to say about this level. We fight some dudes in alleyways as the duo meets up with Wang, and after winning in a fight against him, he gives us some encouragement about defeating Jin Kazama and the evil Mishima Zaibatsu. Wang warns Lars to be weary of Alyssa, but I'm sure that's nothing but a red herring. The long journey to regain Lars's memory and to find Heihachi continues. I visit Jin Kazama's alma mater, punch a panda bear in the face, and then followed up with defeating the second stage boss, Zayu, a schoolgirl who doesn't have any information on Jin's whereabouts, but expresses her wish to also beat him up. It's weird since at this point in the game, Lars doesn't have his memory back, so all we really know is Jin is the head of Mishima Zaibatsu, but is also on a collision course towards him just because he heard Jin is a bad fellow from some random people he just beat up. Not saying Jin doesn't deserve a nice 1-2 jab in the ribs, but we're not really interviewing credible people here, unless there's some rule in the world of Tekken that once defeated you must tell the truth. Lars and Alyssa are once again alongside the water, fighting their way through hordes of goons. I picked up a couple Gatling gun kills before the stage boss. Bake? Bach? Bayek. How do you say this guy's name? Once I get rid of the lesser enemies, Bake can't get too many attacks in while being bombarded from both sides by Alyssa and Lars. After the stage, a little cutscene of Jin and Nina being confronted by a lady named Zafina regarding awakening some dangerous entity named Azazel occurs. Jin, like most psychotic Tekken characters, isn't too worried about it, and the two make a grand exit in a kick-ass military helicopter. Side note, I really enjoy how each character talks in their native language. Jin speaks Japanese and has subtitles, while Nina just speaks English. It's a great touch of detail for a PS3 game that didn't really need to have voice acting, much less a multilingual cast.
How is it you know that?
知ってどうする？それで何かが変わるのか？
Still looking for answers and Heihachi's whereabouts, Lars and Alyssa head over to the Industrial Highway 357 and yet another waterside level. The only difference from the last couple waterside levels is this one comes with a drive-by attack boat. I do come across my first alien in this level, just a helpless little gray man trying his best in a world not his own. Instead of calling Fox Mulder, however, Lars murders it. After senselessly killing 9 more of these little buggers, I'll get a trophy, but at what cost? After that, I beat up a couple more guys along the dock and defeat the stage boss, Huarang. Lars learns the location of Heihachi, which earns me the story-related trophy, Locate the Target. Also, Blade is apparently in Tekken 6. The next 4 stages are the beginning of my Neo phase. I start to see the Matrix through the code, and the Matrix is saying 2 words, lead pipe. Everyone falls to the power of the lead pipe. If there is a pipe in the boss arena, the outcome has been predetermined by our Ludley Overlord and written in stone, nay, etched in diamond with my name in the winner's column. Defeating King and Marduk in their own martial arts gym took a couple tries until I was bestowed the lead pipe of victory. During this fight, I revived Alyssa for a 3rd time, which earned me the A Friend in Need trophy. But my only true friend is the pipe. I took a break from slapping around Armor King to break some crates in search of my new god, the pipe. I did not find what I was looking for, but instead was gifted the Crate Breaker trophy for destroying 100 wooden crates. Throughout the stages, Lars is sustained through a very niche diet of eggs and small and large chickens, and in the West District I picked up my 300th health recovery item for the Ready for Action trophy. I then attempted to bring on more converts to the way of the pipe by laying out both West District stage bosses Paul and Law. With what has now become the center of what feels like a new religious path I have stepped upon, Lars and Alyssa being the prophets of pain to all that will listen. I enjoyed this level's layout, having to fight a couple waves of enemies at a locked gate until finally being led into a dead end that turns into a downward trek where floor after floor falls into each other as Lars and Alyssa make their way to the bottom to fight Steve. Sadly, Steve stops my first attempt at this stage dead in its tracks. During my second attempt, I pick up the Special Flag, which is an Easter egg featured in a handful of Namco games over the years. In Tekken 6, it just gives you a boatload of points once you finish the level, and the What's So Special About It trophy. Unfortunately, the man with the most generic and unthreatening name ends my second attempt at this stage with his boxing prowess, and also my 3rd run. But everyone will eventually become a convert to the way of the lead pipe, and Steve gets knocked senseless by thine holy inanimate object in a nail biter. This stage started me off with a flamethrower hidden in a crate right off the bat, which is always appreciated. It's no lead pipe, hallowed be its steel, but burning through some enemies also has its therapeutic qualities. After making my way carefully through this awful hallway of falling boxes, I reached the stage boss, Leo. The boxes continued to fall during the boss fight and nearly took Lars down, but I managed to pull off a victory and move on, still looking for Heihachi's location. North Nature Park is full of bears. While I normally would say respect nature and protect animals, the lead pipe thirsts for bear blood and I am but its humble apostle. I'll be honest, right about now I'm starting to lose the plot of Tekken 6. We're searching for Kuma, an anthropomorphic bear that, according to Alyssa, was once in the running to become the leader of the Mishima Zaibatsu Corporation. Definitely still not the weirdest thing said or seen in this game, but wacky enough I had to mention it. I earned the Treasure Amateur Trophy for collecting 50 treasure chests. These chests contain different costume pieces you can equip onto the characters. I beat up so many bears with a lead pipe on my way to the stage boss, I earned the Brute Force Trophy for defeating 100 enemies with it just as the fight with Kuma was beginning. It took a couple tries, but finally Kuma was also converted to the way of the pipe. Sumos and ninjas team up to try and take Lars down on this stage. Very early on in this stage, Ganryu, the stage boss, appears, fights me and runs away, leaving Lars to chase him further down the streets. He keeps jumping out of walls like the Kool-Aid Man until I eventually made it to his dojo where he knocks me down a peg or two. He kills me a couple more times in between waves of his terrifying sumo action, but on my final run I managed to stunlock him against a railing and defeat him even before reaching his actual boss arena. I took a little break from the campaign for a night to hopefully earn the last remaining multiplayer trophy for winning a player match online. This trophy is hard for two reasons. One, finding a player match online is hard as most of the people playing Tekken 6 on a PS3 these days are playing ranked. And second, when I find a match, I am still going against people who are far, far better than me. Early on, I end up fighting the same person, Peachy Jazz J, what's up, multiple times, and it was quickly becoming apparent I had no chance on winning. So after losing for a fifth time in a row, I tried to appeal to their humanity by sending them a PSN message begging them to let me win just once. They did not oblige. A couple more matches against Peachy Jazz J, some more losses under my belt. They must have read my message and quit in disgust. I searched for a little longer, but couldn't find any other opponents online. 2 days later, I logged on and managed to find a new opponent and pulled off a 3-1 victory for the final Tekken 6 multiplayer trophy. No pressure. Welcome to the secret underground passage, or as I apparently called it in my notes, Flamethrower World. There's a new flamethrower dropped whenever one of these Rock'em Sock'em robots is defeated. With the abundance of flame, I easily earned the Playing with Fire trophy during my time underground for defeating 100 enemies with the flamethrower. At the end of the long hallway, Lars and Alyssa are confronted by Tekken 6's resident Wesley Snipes cosplayer, Raven. He goes down without too much effort. After the fight, Alyssa's journal says that Raven is actually part of an international secret service and tells the duo the actual whereabouts of Heihachi. Heihachi is informed of the rebel attack led by Lars against the G Corporation. He wishes to find Lars and bring him over to his side of the turmoil. Luckily for him, Lars and Alyssa arrive at the Mishima estate and begin to fight their way through to Heihachi's location. After battling through waves of ninjas, freaky claw dudes, and a small government's worth of secret service, I reached Heihachi. He of course wished to battle to test Lars' strength. Well, I don't think he was too impressed considering he killed me many times. The silver lining of needing to run back this level multiple times is I earned the Enemy Hunting Enthusiast trophy for killing 1,000 enemies in the scenario campaign sometime around my 5th attempt. My final match against Heihachi went a lot smoother since Alyssa managed to stay alive the whole time, and I went into it with a lead pipe. Praise be thy clobbering ability, I am but a faithful servant. After the fight, Lars regains his lost memories, and we learn that he is the illegitimate son of Heihachi. Lars asks where an epitaph from Central America is located, but Heihachi refuses to give up the information freely, so Lars shoots him. I think Lars was just fooling around, as I don't think a gun could stop him, much less Heihachi. Lars then received a phone call from Togu, who has conveniently located the epitaph in a facility underneath the Mishima Zaibatsu headquarters. The story trophy, it's all coming back to me, Pops, for recovering Lars' memories. This is a quick stage that has Lars and Alyssa fighting through waves of G Corporation goons until the duo run into Lei Wulong, who they team up with to finish off the remaining threat. Lei even takes out an alien for us. I hope that counts towards the trophy. After cleaning up the streets, a cutscene of Alyssa fighting a helicopter with her freaky chainsaw hands plays. Why didn't Snake just use those?
What are you going to do? Take on a hind with your
chainsaw
hands?
A relative of Jin Kazama opened up a martial arts dojo, so Lars and Alyssa need to investigate. I take Asuka down on my first try. According to Alyssa's journal, we didn't get any useful information from that outing. We just got to beat up a lady in the street. Next, the two head over to the deserted temple, which is not looking all that empty from the offset. The boss arena was generous and gifted me with 2 lead pipes, so this fight's outcome was preordained in the holy book of our leaden lord. The Lord of Lead blesses me again in the next stage with a pipe near the beginning. I actually just carried it through the level until the boss fight against Bob. Even though Bob has packed on some serious mass, he is also no match for the lead pipe. Another person converted. The Seahorse Grand Hotel stage is my first opportunity to find one of the 4 hidden stages in the game. There are 2 different paths I can take right at the beginning of the stage. The first one I took led to the Plaza water fountain of the hotel and a fight against Christy, who's trying to find a familiar face for Tekken fans, Eddie Gordo. Since nothing can be solved in this world without a fight, Lars and Alyssa just bully Christy via a 2-on-1 beatdown. After the stage, I earned the Love That Money trophy for collecting more than 5 million gold. I purchased absolutely nothing so far in the game, so now that I got this trophy, perhaps I should go shopping. Before I do that, there's a second path to take at the Seahorse Hotel. This time I take the right branching path. I'm not proud of my actions, but I curb stomped this little alien fella who seemed to just be trying to escape this conga line of rockette dancers. His attempt to crawl to safety was cut short by Lars's boot, but I did get the Alien Hunter trophy for putting down him and 9 of his other gray friends. I guess it's true what they say. Trust no one. The second path actually just comes around to the front of the hotel again, but instead of fighting Christie immediately, you first fight a kangaroo that drops from the heavens. After finishing up, a hidden stage is unlocked, the Mishima Industries Biotech Research Station ruins. This beautiful mountainside path is littered with kangaroos, bears, and sheep. The sheep you don't fight, but that doesn't take away from Lars's newly found desire to single-handedly lower the wildlife count of the sheep's anthropomorphic friends down to 0. There are so many kangaroos and bears that I easily got my combo chain to 50, earning me the Combo Master trophy. I cheesed some low kicks on the stage boss, Roger Jr., and he lost the spring to his step. The next 2 stages are pretty uneventful and straightforward. In Violet Systems, I was gifted with a lead pipe going into the boss fight against Lee. He falls fast to the cleansing power of the pipe. Lee gets a call from one of the informants who is in trouble at the G Science and Technology Research Building, so the duo head over there to help out. I picked up my 100th treasure pretty early on in the G Corp building and popped the Treasure Enthusiast trophy. There was no boss in this stage. After beating up a horde of G Corp security, I saved Lee's informant and moved on. This stage was a raid on the Tekken Force compound, and it was pretty fun having a group of soldiers alongside Lars and Alyssa. Eventually I reached a large hangar and Eddie Gordo was just hanging around, so of course a fight broke out. After Alyssa's journal states that they received the boot-up key to a weapon called Nancy MI847J, and the corresponding trophy, the Key to Victory, popped. On this stage, Lars and Alyssa are fighting across catwalks above a warehouse. I picked up my 50th drink, which you find from breaking crates. Drinks give your character some effect like a little power-up for a short amount of time. I'm just a monkey that sees something on the ground, so I must pick it up, and for that due diligence I was awarded the Thirsty Fighter trophy. The issue I never even considered that this particular stage could bring is that I can also be thrown off the catwalk for an instant stage failure. Up until this point right here, I never even thought about the possibility, and sadly for me it happened again and again and again. Off camera I equipped Lars with some new gear, which not only gave him some more health and buffed up his other stats, but also gave him this green vested white samurai cowboy look. Like if Daniel Craig and Tom Cruise fused together to create some sort of degenerate white savior fighting hero, and then I got pushed off the stage again. Finally, I made it to the boss fight against Bruce with a flamethrower in hand. It may not be a lead pipe, but in the end it worked out for everyone. Well, except for Bruce. He got his ass beat. Use Nancy MI847J? Yes, please. That key to victory I picked up back at the Tekken Force base can now be used to pilot Nancy, a big old lizard-headed mech that is an automatic win for this stage. You even fight the stage boss Anna while aboard this monstrosity, making this stage all but trivial. There is a trophy I'll have to come back for beating this level without Nancy, but for now, I'm moving on to the showdown with Kazuya at the top of the Millennium Tower. Lars has a short-lived rematch with Anna and a boatload of goons. Afterwards, the man of the hour, Kazuya Mishima, makes his action hero entrance by jumping out of a helicopter and confronts Lars. Kazuya, like all insane protagonists, thinks he is going to save the world by unleashing and then defeating Azazel. This ancient demon is presumably the source of the devil gene that some of the Mishima men have demonstrated in previous Tekkens. So, if you're taking notes, the proper way to survive being thrown into a volcano by your father is to have an ancient demon's genetic features, so you can turn into a devil yourself and survive even a volcanic lava flow. Obviously, Kazuya's plan is psychotic, and Lars looks to his new deity, the lead pipe, to guide him in this battle. Not Kazuya, Azazel, the devil gene, and most likely not even God himself can withstand Lars standing in a boss arena with 2 fresh lead pipes available. I would put this man with a lead pipe in his hands on the front lines of any war you would wish to win, and the conclusion would be foregone. All hail our leadly lord. After crushing Kazuya, I earned the That's No Hero story trophy. Sadly, we learned through Alyssa's journal the beatdown wasn't enough and Kazuya managed to escape. Unfortunately, Lars's friend and comrade Togu was killed during the siege of the Millennium Tower, and our resident vampire cosplayer Raven is hanging out peeping from afar. Next stage, we're taking the train, and we're going after Kazuya's son Jin. I was careful not to have a replay of the catwalk stage and not get knocked off the moving train. Jin's goons were very generous with their drops, leaving me a plethora of large chickens and weaponry for the stage boss Nina. I used the flamethrower to just push her off the train about 7 seconds after she arrived. Lars must have lost the keys to the Nancy bot since it attacked as the duo was running through the train tunnels, but Raven finally stepped out of the shadows to help instead of just peep. It is actually a pretty badass scene. After reaching the Mishima Tower, Lars fights some enemies as they take the most unconventional elevator I've ever seen. It's just being pulled up by huge robot arms. Nobody in the Mishima family believes in a simple pulley system, it would seem. Once we reach the top, Nina strikes again. I didn't get to throw her off a train this time, but she does go down quick against the double team of Lars and Alyssa. After the Nina fight, it's time to come face to face with Jin. He honestly goes down pretty easily, and I take the victory on my first try. I get the Destroyer Has Fallen trophy for winning this battle. In a completely shocking turn of events, Alyssa is actually under Jin's control. And now Lars must fight his companion to stay alive and save the world. This is by far the worst fight in the game, but thankfully there is a checkpoint at the beginning of this fight, so I didn't have to play the entire level over again. She beat me twice in a row, and then I beat her with time on the clock. But I got royally screwed and I got a failure screen because the powers that be apparently want my last remaining tendrils of hair to fall out and this script to be even longer. She beat me 5 more times before I finally got my second victory. First that counted against my former android friend. Alyssa tries to casually chainsaw Lars' face off and then escapes through the glass ceiling. Raven gives Lars a little pep talk and it's time to chase Jin into the desert to stop an ancient evil devil creature from being reborn and destroying the world. This stage kind of feels like an apology for the previous horror show of a level. It was incredibly easy, the game still gives you some backup with Raven now taking along in Alyssa's place. There is no stage boss, just an arena in the end where I had to fight a bunch of normal baddies with the help of a couple NPCs. Afterwards, we head to the final stage of the scenario campaign. This is a long stage with a couple different sections before reaching the end boss. First, Lars and Raven take care of the G Corporation's welcome crew outside of the temple doors. After that, they take a nice stroll down a hallway made to give Indiana Jones a wet dream. Once at the end of the temple path, I got to take on one of the 4 bosses this stage throws at me. Kazuya blocks my path, but he just can't keep up with the double team and goes down quickly. He infers that Lars must have Mishima blood in him because he punches really good, so maybe that's setting up some stuff for future Tekken games? Let me know who throws who in a volcano in the next Tekken game in the comments below. Farther inside the temple, Lars and Raven are confronted by the rectifier of all things, Azazel. This is the big bad that's been looming in the background all game. The one that everyone is so afraid he will get loose and destroy the whole world, and he's only the second boss of 4 in the final stage. Azazel went down on my first attempt. But it's not over yet, as something even harder than an ancient demon is on Lars' heels. These falling columns are an instant death and stage fail. Luckily, Tekken is being gracious with its checkpoints and I didn't have to redo the stage from the beginning. Back at the entrance of the temple, Jin Kazama awaits along with our ex-bestie Alyssa. The Alyssa boss fight this time around isn't nearly as hard as it was on top of the Mishima Tower. I found a Gatling gun in a crate which helped me with some crowd control and netted me my 300th kill, earning me the Heavy Artillery trophy. I spammed a punch combo which alleviated Alyssa activating her funny business protocol and took her out much quicker than our previous battle. Alyssa thanks Lars for the adventures they had together and shuts down. The final battle of the scenario campaign against Jin can now take place. Jin wiped the floor with me in about 10 seconds after I took him down to a quarter health with a flamethrower. Attempt number 2 goes a lot smoother with the reappearance of our Ledley Lord. I used the perfect pipe to keep my distance and whittle Jin down to just under half health. After which I reacquaint him with the flamethrower and take home the easy win. I earned the Showdown trophy for winning the final battle in the scenario campaign mode. Azazel does try out the already dead killer coming back from the dead trick, but Jin activates his devil powers and punches that demon through the chest, throwing them both down an abyss. I'm sure they are both dead forever and totally won't come back in future Tekken installments. have 3 more hidden stages to complete on the scenario campaign map, which all have trophies tied to them. First off is Keegan Island, which is unlocked by playing the Abyss Gate stage on hard and then beating up this guy with a straw hat who jumps out of the crate at the beginning of the stage. He drops a map, which unlocks the Keegan Island stage. During my multiple attempts at this island stage, I defeated 2,000 enemies in the scenario campaign, earning me the Enemy Hunting Master Trophy, as well as collecting 200 trophies for the Treasure Hunting Trophy, which for some reason I don't have a clip of getting. And one of those 200 trophies was finally an S-ranked item, which also got me the Item Connoisseur Trophy. The boss of the stage was Yoshimitsu, and he was no slouch. This took me a couple tries, but I was finally able to take him down and earn the Eastern Explorer Trophy for clearing Keegan Island. The third hidden stage I tackled was the Subterranean Pavilion, which was unlocked by just completing the 16th Archaeological Expeditions Excavation Site stage on the hard difficulty. This stage is packed with color swaps of Mokujin, a living wooden training dummy, or as the righteous among us would identify him as, a witch.
Why do witches burn? Because they're made of wood? Good!
After falling through a couple of floors, I put down Mokujin and earned the Wooden Warrior Trophy. The final hidden stage is Nightmare Train. This stage is unlocked by beating the final level of the main story of the scenario campaign. This is the hardest stage in the scenario campaign by a long shot. You need to fight waves of demon enemies on a train where it is super easy to fall off, which ends the run instantly. The enemies on this stage aren't slouches either. There's generally 5 to 10 of them ganging up on your characters in this small, confined space at one time. I had to re-equip Lars and Alyssa with some better gear to up my health and power. After about an hour of this stage, I finally reached the stage boss, Deviljin, and I just shot him off the train in like 10 seconds. Pretty anticlimactic, but I will take the win and the trophy. What a nightmare. With that being the final stage in the scenario campaign beaten, I earned the Scenario Expert for clearing all stages. Throughout the campaign after beating stages, Alyssa will also increase her AI level, as I said earlier. This is just part of the natural progression, and after beating all stages, her AI reaches level 10 and the upgraded assistant trophy pops. Before I move on to the other modes, I went back and played the Millennium Tower stage without using the boot up key. This just means you have to beat the stage normally without being able to rampage through the corporate hallways on the Nancy robot. Having just finished Nightmare Train and having a ton of strong items equipped, this was no problem. For beating the stage without the help of Nancy, I earned the No Key for Me trophy. Now that the scenario campaign is completed, I've got 8 more trophies to earn for the platinum, but one of these is going to take a lot of time. I still need to complete the gallery, which includes obtaining all characters' prologues and endings. This would normally be acquired by completing arena mode with each character, but I know a trick that can speed up that process. But first I will also need to clear arcade, team battle, ghost battle, and the survival modes to unlock other needed gallery items. Most of these modes also have a unique trophy tied to them. A quick dip into practice mode, something I probably should have done hours ago, netted me the Practice Makes Perfect trophy by inflicting a total of 1,000 damage, aka punching a lifeless computer player for like 2 minutes. Team battles are just that. You have multiple characters on a team and you have to beat them one by one until someone's team, never mine, is defeated. I didn't stray far from the path that has already been paved for me and stayed with the team of Lars and Alyssa. After winning 3 team battles, the Team Topple trophy popped. In Ghost Battle, after each round, you get to pick your next opponent out of 3 options. These are supposed to be offline versions of other actual players, so I guess it's another way to practice your online chops without actually ever having to interact with another person. After defeating 30 ghosts, I earned the Ghost Vanquisher trophy. Next, it was time for me to finally play arcade mode, which is what I assume most people are actually playing Tekken games for if they aren't playing matches against their friends or online. I cleared my first run through the arcade mode with Alyssa and popped the Arcade Addict trophy. I did have to replay arcade mode one more time, so I could fight the extra stage against the big robot Nancy, as I failed miserably to defeat it the first time around. This time I used Deviljin, who has a cheesy attack combo that no AI system can defend against, which brought the bucket of bolts down easily. I got the Machine Crusher trophy for bringing down Nancy MI847J. My final offline mode trophy revolved around winning 10 consecutive fights in survival mode. I have to fight as many people as possible in a row without dying. At the end of each battle, you get a little bit of health back, but it's generally not much, so the key is to take as little damage as possible and end these fights fast. This one was a challenge for me. Even though I've been playing Tekken 6 for about a month straight, I honestly still wasn't very good at it. So, asking me to survive for 10 straight battles is a big task. I tried my hand at this trophy off and on for about 2 weeks while I was finishing Scenario Campaign and the other offline mode trophies, and I finally nabbed the Survival of the Fittest trophy. I also managed to lose the footage, but as you have seen, I have plenty of video where I failed to succeed. 2 more trophies before I grab the Platinum, and they are both related to the gallery. As I said before, to complete the gallery in Tekken 6, I need to clear the various offline modes, which I have done, including the time attack mode, which does not have any trophies associated with it. Next, I need to unlock each character's prologue and ending scenes, which is just a grind. I can do this one of 2 ways. 1. I can complete the arena inside of the Scenario Campaign for each character, which consists of 4 stages. Or 2. I can start an arena run with every character and unlock their prologues. After that, I can enter any level in Scenario Campaign and die quickly, which will randomly unlock a character's end movie every 4 to 6 stages. This may be the most dishonorable way of acquiring all movies, but I never claimed to be honor-bound. There are 38 characters and all of them have a prologue and ending I need to unlock. I started my journey playing through the arena once with Panda just so I can at least say I did it. After completing Panda's arena run, I unlocked my first ending movie, which earned me the Night at the Movies trophy. After unlocking what I assumed was every character's prologue, I moved on to the final step of earning all the ending movies. I did earn some ending movies along the way by completing matches in the various offline modes, but the bulk of the unlocks came from me dying over and over again on the Nightmare Train stage. Some characters are a little tricky, like Jin and King, because they have 2 ending movies you need to unlock, but you can just check on this in the gallery menu. To end this platinum journey in the most anticlimactic way possible, after searching through the gallery menu trying to see what I possibly still needed to collect after I thought I was done, praying to my once proud Ledley Lord that I somehow didn't discover a bug a month into this endeavor, I discovered that when I played through Panda's arena section, I didn't then go back and start as Kuma to unlock the Grizzly Bear's prologue. Once I saw the ridiculous prologue scene of an anthropomorphic bear jumping out of a helicopter and training in the woods to become the king of the Iron Fist 6 champion, I earned the Gallery Completionist trophy, followed swiftly by the Tekken Platinum trophy, Tekken Fanatic. Now that I've completed Tekken 6 and made this long video shoving it in the face of my good friend Peter, how do I feel about that experience? This being my first deep dive into a Tekken game, I will say this series is wild, silly, and mostly an overall good time. Even for someone like me whose fighting game chops are essentially non-existent, from the subtle details in the Scenario Campaign of the characters speaking their native languages, walking, talking, bears, kangaroos, and whatever Mukajin is, the stories range from weird, silly, and tragic, but do consistently deliver something compelling to ingest. It was a joy getting to peer into this long-running series and take in all that it had to offer. Now, is this going to change me into a fighting game fanatic? No. But even though I don't want to live here, I'm very glad I visited. Thank you for watching me struggle bust my way through yet another very old game on a very old console. I appreciate your time, especially for those that lasted this long into a video about a dude who sucks at fighting games getting a platinum trophy just because his friend you don't know also has it. I think Tekken 6 is actually available on PS4, and I think it's also backwards compatible on the Series X and S, but there's no truer way to experience this 18-year-old game than playing it online on a PS3 so people that have been playing it for almost 2 decades can kick your teeth in via ranked battle. I do have some more of my friends' games on deck that I'm working on videos for. I also make videos about RPGs, my latest one being a love letter to the late, great Legend of Dragoon. It takes me forever to make videos, but if for some reason you are interested, I do have a Patreon with some fun little benefits and some exclusive behind the scenes vids. And I'd love to take game suggestions from you as well. Once again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.